Jai Gurudev, Jai Masters. When you go even relatively deep, you start to notice the relationship between the psyche and the Shakti. When you're lost in the psyche, you can't see it. The psyche is very noisy, filled with issues. Because it has issues, it has desires to try and make it feel better, has needs, has fears. All of this is because the psyche is not well. The psyche can't really be well. They can't ever be well because it's fake. It's something that's illusionary. You've made it up. You make it up any way you want. I can change, I promise I can change. Tell me how you want me to be. There. Okay? It's just something you make up in your mind. It is something made up in the mind. The thoughts. That's all the psyche is thoughts and feelings. Thoughts emanating from the mind, feelings emanating from the heart. But because of what you stored in your mind and stored in your heart over the course of your life, they're not pleasant things that are coming up. You stored every single thing that ever bothered you inside of you. Why? Because I couldn't handle it. I didn't like it. I couldn't handle it. So what'd you do with it? You pushed it away. We've discussed this over and over again. When you push something away, it doesn't go away. It stays in there and tries to come up. Why does it try to come up? Because energy has to move. Energy doesn't stop. I told you the Colorado River was dammed up at the Hoover Dam. It never ever stopped trying to go past that dam, and it never will. They have to maintain that dam with people and money and everything. Otherwise, that river's coming through one way or another. Its nature is to flow. So yes, you can dam it up, but you can't stop energy from trying to go where its natural flow is. It's the same thing inside of you. If these events take place, we've been through this before, it's okay, we'll do it again. If events take place outside, the events don't come inside. This person doesn't come inside the school or the teacher or the parent or whatever it is. They don't come inside. They stay out there. The atoms are out there. The atoms don't come inside. The behavior patterns take place outside. They generate energy. They generate waves of light patterns. It's those light patterns that come in through your eyes. Everything creates a vibration. I've told you before, you do not see anything outside. You have never, ever seen anything outside. Nobody's ever seen anything outside. Period. You can't see the outside. You're in here, consciousness, and the outside comes in through your senses. And then you see it inside. It paints a picture in your mind. This is science. This is not me, okay? That's spirituality. It is spirituality. But science will tell you that your eyes are photosensitive, and therefore light bounces off of objects. They come in, they stimulate the photosensitive atoms in your eyes, and then they get that sensation, that vibration, gets passed back through your optical nerves and ends up in your brain and then paints a picture in your mind. Like the pixels on your flat screen TV, they're just pixels, but they don't look like it. If you step back, they look like pictures. Likewise, these electrical impulses that get sent up through your nerves, which are stimulated and take the form of the light patterns or the sound patterns, sound waves, that came in through your senses, make it back, and they render themselves in your mind. So you're looking at me inside. I know it doesn't seem like that. It's how brilliant your mind is. It has 3D perspective, but the truth is you're looking inside. You are in here consciously looking at the rendering of what's out there that came in through your senses. The same way as if you're watching a ball game somewheres in San Francisco, whatever, and you're not really watching the ball game on your screen. You're watching the fact that the camera picked up the light waves and sound waves that were bouncing off of the objects outside on the ball game. They came in through the camera, they get passed through the satellite, got encrypted in digital form, then they passed on down and they ended up rendering on your TV screen. You're not looking at the ball game, are you? Well, you're not looking outside. It's very important to understand that. Why am I saying that? Because what's coming in is energy. Everything is energy. Einstein showed that. Everybody has shown that. It's all just energy. It's the electromagnetic spectrum vibrating at different wavelengths, radio waves, sound waves, visible light, infrared, ultraviolet. There's just entire waves. They're just waves of light. They're all light. You think light is visible light. That's a tiny, tiny amount of the spectrum. It's about this big of a spectrum that's that big. Okay? And so basically, that's the part when waves of light, visible light, bounce off of objects, they come in and you see them. If you put on infrared binoculars, like they do at nighttime vision, it doesn't look the same. That's because the light bouncing off of the objects is picked up by these infrared binoculars or monitors, and that is able to pick up that vibration of light, and then you're able to see what it renders. So it's just, understand, it's just all light. That's all it is. The yogis taught that from thousands of years ago. It's just light. It's just the dance of light that's going on. I love that science teaches you this. You want to learn about God? Study science. God is ultimate truth. What is science? Trying to find truth. It's just that simple. All right, so we were talking about what happens if something happens outside. It comes in. The object doesn't come in. The vibrations come in. The light waves come in through your various senses. And then it renders in your mind. There are things that come in that you, the consciousness, ultimately, who's the end user in there? You, all right? You're the experiencer, aren't you? You're the experiencer of what comes in. Some things that come in are not pleasant. What does that mean? I don't want to talk about it because you know, all right? Things that come in don't feel good. I don't know what it is. Just this inner sense of disturbance, this inner sense of non-comfort, okay? And what do you, the consciousness, do? You're the only one in there. I told you, that's a single occupancy apartment. Your parents are not in there, your son's not in there, your daughter's not in there, your spouse is not in there. You're the only one in there, the consciousness. If you are not comfortable with a vibration that's coming in, that's all that comes in, is vibrations, all right? When it comes in, you resist it. You have this tendency to push it away. Freud called it suppression, repression. Those are big psychological problems. You do it every day with the tiniest little thing. If you're driving up to a light and it starts to turn yellow, you get like this, should I go through it? But if the car in front of you is driving slower than you want to go, you're doing all kinds of stuff. There are things that come in from the outside world that when they come in, you resist. Let's just use the word resistance. Suppression, repression, that's really strong. And denial, that's really strong resistance, okay? But ultimately, you are resisting it. You are pushing it away inside. Where does it go? It can't go anywhere. Why? Because your will, that's the power of will you have in there. You have this power of pushing away those vibrations. They stay in there. It's that simple. They stay in there. How do you know? Because they keep coming back up. Don't they? All right? They come back in your dreams. They come back if something reminds you of them. They come back and haunt you because you kept them in there. You don't keep everything in there, not even close. I told you once, you are at least 95%, you're probably 99% enlightened. Almost every single thing that comes in through your senses makes it right through. The white lines in the road, the people you don't know, somebody's talking, you don't even care what they're talking about. It comes in, just like everything else, and makes it right through. Why? Because you don't resist it. Did you experience it? Yeah, you experienced it. You just didn't get so involved in it that you had to do something about it. The vast majority of what you've ever experienced, you didn't do anything about, did you? Right? The sky, the clouds, the sound, I can't even talk, there's so much I can't talk about it. Every second of your life, there's all kinds of stuff coming through your senses. Grass, trees, leaves, they just come in and they go through. You experience them. They're rich. It's wonderful. You experience them. You go stand by the ocean. Are you going to go get all upset about every single wave, about every single spray? But you still experience it, and it's beautiful. It's fine. It's beautiful to stand there and experience it. But if something happens that's uncomfortable, you see a shark, or you don't see whales when you wanted to. It comes in, and you are not comfortable in there. And so you resist it. And when you resist it, it stays inside. I told you before, there's no glue in there. There's nothing in there making anything not pass through except you. It is your act of will by focusing and resisting. It's that act of resistance inside that makes it stay inside. The day you stop resisting it, it's gone. I don't care if you had traumatized when you were 5 years old. The day, and again, you resist subconsciously as well as consciously, the day that you truly cease to have a problem with it. Somehow you just grew enough, or who knows, and you looked at it and said, this didn't happen 30 years ago. I don't have to deal with this. It's gone. You can let it go. There's no glue in there. There's nothing that can keep it in there except your will. And you have will, don't you? You got hands in there that can push things around. You grab things, push them around. You want to think this. Those hands are acts of will. You have a power called will. So when it comes in and you don't like it, you're not comfortable with it, you resist it, and it stays inside. That's the key. I've discussed it with you over and over again. What happens to water when it hits something solid and it's trying to flow? It circles, it splashes, it moves in one place. So inside, this energy comes in, you resist it with your wall of will, and it starts, the only way the energy can stay in one place, because it has to keep moving, is to move in the form of a circle. That's why a circle is such an intricate part of physics, of all of creation. Because energy that's blocked can go in a circle and stay where it's standing, but still move. And that movement of that energy, yoga calls it samskara. That's a pattern of energy that holds all the form and all the vibrations and all the thoughts and feelings that came in, that didn't pass through, gets stuck in that cycle. And they are always trying to come up. They're always trying to pass through. That's what your psyche is made of. Your personality, your psyche, your likes, your dislikes, your concepts, your views, your opinions, your preferences are all made of that stuff that you stored all the time throughout your life. The bigger things that you stored are really foundational of your personality. The little things all day affect whether you want to see somebody again or whether you walk the other way when you see them because they weren't real nice to you last time, or at least you thought they weren't. Just every little thing is leaving impressions and patterns in there because you're not letting it go through. Otherwise, you're an open being. You're open. Somebody you talked to yesterday, it wasn't such a good conversation, so what? You see them today, hi, you're new. It's called beginner's mind. You're just totally open. There's nothing stuck in there. But that's not what happens, is it? So now you have an understanding of what your psyche, that is your psyche. And I'm going to give the list again. Hopes, dreams, concept, views, opinions, preferences, likes, dislikes, fears, all that stuff. That stuff you think you are, that is not who you are. That is stuff that gets stuck in your mind, and you put it all together to make a you out of it. It's called your ego, your self-concept. Yeah, I'm the one that this happened to, and I like this, and I don't like that, and I don't like when you talk to me that way, and don't you just talk. It's made all this stuff inside, and you said, that's me. So that's what's stuck in there. When that is going on in there, you can't feel the Shakti. You won't feel that underlying energy that is always going on in everybody. It's not just some master or some high being that has Shakti. You have exactly the same as everybody else. But your consciousness can't experience it because it's caught in all these psychological mumbo-jumbo. Junk about your heart, these feelings, emotions, problems, fears, desires, they catch your attention, don't they? Do fears and desires catch your attention? To say the least. Okay? So basically it draws your consciousness to them because they're the strongest thing going on in there because you made them out of what was the strongest thing that happened to you. Why would you fear something? Because I had an experience before and it wasn't comfortable, or I watched a movie and it seemed really, I don't care how it got in there. It could be a book, it could be a movie, it could be what somebody said to you, or somebody explained some situation that happened to them that was terrible. And all of a sudden, you got this terrible thing in there about the situation. Maybe they were lying to you. I don't know. But you got that junk in there. And so now you feel fear and you feel desire. What is desire? I'm not okay in here. I just told you why you're not okay. Because you are okay in there. You're beyond okay. You're in a state of absolute ecstasy all the time. Love, beauty, inspiration. That is what's in there. But you have put this stuff on top of it so you can't experience it. And so now what do? Now I'm not okay inside. What do you mean? I have fears. Are fears fun? No, I have to do things to make sure this stuff doesn't happen that makes me feel fear. I have desires. Somehow people think that fears and desires, fears are bad and desires are good. There's nothing wrong with fear, there's nothing wrong with desire. They're natural things based on the psychological stuff you've done. A desire is no nicer than a fear. A fear is no not nicer than a desire. No, yes. Have a tremendous desire to see somebody and don't get to see them. Tell me how you feel. You suffer. You're freaking out. A desire, if you fulfill the desire, there is a release of some energy. And you start to feel something nicer, because you opened. If you can't fulfill the desire, are you kidding me? You suffer, don't you? If you have a fear and it doesn't happen, you feel relieved. Oh my God, I didn't have to go through that. And you feel energy. That is the energy that is always down there. It's not that the person of your desire or the vacation or whatever it is that you desired brought the energy. It does not bring the energy. The exact same vacation given to somebody else, they suffer. In fact, the exact same vacation that happened to you a month ago that you thought turned you on, 1 month later you suffer. Why? Because on the first vacation to Hawaii, wherever you went, you broke up with your boyfriend or girlfriend. Now you go back to Hawaii. You're not going to go back to I ain't never going back there. It's not a very nice place. It is not the outside world that is creating this energy. It is the fact that you are closed and you don't feel the energy because you're closed. You put all this stuff on top of it. And so now certain events can happen that either relieve the fear that you were feeling or relieve the desire, the attempt to release the energy. And then for those moments, you feel openness, you feel love, you feel joy, you feel inspiration. Definitely. I like to tell you that as infrequently as you feel those things, that's what's going on in there all the time right now. I don't care if you're the most depressed person ever lived, what's going on right now inside is the highest thing you've ever experienced, highest thing anybody's ever experienced. Going on all the time inside you, free of charge. You don't have to do anything, you don't have to stop doing anything, nobody has to do anything. It is your natural state. Why don't I feel it? I told you. If there's something really beautiful over there, but I'm looking over here, do I see it? I don't even experience it. If something's really beautiful inside of you, but you're staring at the disturbances that are in there, you're not going to know it's there. You will never feel it. You'll never experience it. But if all of a sudden you stop here, something distracts you from yourself. That's what a vacation does, right? It distracts you from yourself. That's what a new relationship does. It distracts you from yourself. And when you're distracted from staring at the garbage you stored inside, you feel better. When it stops distracting you, I told you, my favorite thing people say in a relationship is as follows. I hear you're dating so-and-so for some months and something like that. How's it going? Ready? It's a work in process. What in the world does that mean? It means I need that person to be a certain way for me to feel okay, and maybe it'll get there. We'll see. In other words, you're having a relationship with yourself, not with the other person. You're trying to train the other person to be the way you need them to be so they distract you from yourself. It was exciting to start with, but then, we had a financial problem and he said something I didn't like, and I've just never felt that way again. Of course not. It has to distract you from your tendency to pay attention to the garbage you stored inside yourself and be busy trying to be okay. All right? Now we get the foundation of the relationship between the psyche and the Shakti. Let's call it Shakti, call it spirit, call it chi, call it energy. I don't care. What do you want to call it? Love, fine. Inspiration, fine. Bliss, I like that one too. Ecstasy, that's a good one. Nirvana, that's a really good one. All right? There's energy in there. The trouble is you're looking down. You're staring at the garbage you stored in there. And since the garbage you stored in there, in general, meaning 95% of it, was because you were not comfortable with what happened. Understand that? Most of the stuff you got in there is not your joys and photo albums. Okay? Now, there's a perfect example. It's a Kodak moment. What does that mean? It means it's a moment. It was so nice I took a picture of it. Why not taking a picture of everything else? Because it didn't do it to me. Well, how thick is your photo album? I don't know, 2-3 inches. Your life's worth? Yeah, sure. Right? Because that's how often it turns you on. It has to be very powerful to distract you from yourself. And it doesn't last very long. Better take a photo. So you understand now the relationship between the psyche and the underlying, I'm going to call it Shakti, but the underlying energy. The psyche is something you made up of the energies coming in from the world, and then you resisted them, held them inside, they got caught inside. They are always trying to release. They are always trying to release. They are always, don't you dare say, I got over that. Got over it means you wouldn't even know what they're talking about. What's the it? There's no antecedent. I don't even know what you're talking about. It literally just went through like the grass and like the lines in the road. You got divorced 3 years ago. Yeah, I guess so. How's that? I got divorced. How would I know? But that's not what you say, is it? It was a terrible situation. Oh my God, I think I'm over it, but I think about it all the time. I dream. You're not over it. They're still in there. So you get to the point where you understand that is the psyche. The stuff that's stuck in there. In fact, I'll give you more of the relationship. I want to talk deep tonight. The relationship between the Shakti and the psyche, right? The Shakti is always trying to come up. Always. There's nothing you will ever... The Colorado River is always trying to push past that dam. I don't care what you ever did. I don't care how bad you think you are. It doesn't make any difference. That river is trying to push past that dam. That Shakti is trying to come up and push that stuff out of the way. And that's why it keeps coming back up. That's why your mind keeps chattering. But my mind's not talking about the divorce. No, your mind's talking about what you think you can do to make it so you can handle the fact that you got divorced 3 years ago. I can find somebody else. I can move. So I'm out in the same town, so I don't have to keep seeing the restaurants we used to go to. It's still about the same thing in the bottom, which is I stored stuff that's not okay, and now I need to learn how to be okay. And here's how the rest of the world needs to be, so it doesn't make me worse, and so maybe it creates an openness for me, but it's all based on not being able to handle the stuff that's inside of you. And so the Shakti is trying to push up. In your dreams, you start dreaming about stuff that happened before. You sometimes think about something that happened before. It shouldn't be in there. I don't care what they tell you. Here's the rule. You ready? If it's not happening in front of you, it should not be happening inside of you. It's not happening anymore. It happened 10 years ago. It happened 5 minutes ago. It happened 30 years ago. It's not happening. How can you be bothered by something that's not happening? You have to be willing to look at things properly. If it is not happening, it is not coming in, but it's bothering you, you're doing it. You're making this thing up. So you get to the point where you realize the Shakti is trying to push it up. You keep pushing it back down. What do you do when something comes back up, makes you uncomfortable? You push it back down. Don't you? All right? My favorite line is as follows. You know we don't talk about that around your father. Oh, why? Because daddy's got some scars. And it hits his stuff. And he won't like it. And he's going to make sure that you don't like it when he don't like it. Okay? And that's what we're all doing to each other. That's why there's so many wars. That's why there's so many divorces. That's why there's so much disharmony. That's the only reason. It's because we're not okay inside, and we're trying to make the outside not hit the bad stuff and open up the good stuff so I can feel good again. And we all have different stuff in there. We've all had different experiences. We all have different things with the different experiences. There's no one who's like you. There's no one. Don't you dare think somebody's like you. No one is like you. No one that ever lived, ever will live, or is living is anything like you. Why? Because nobody had the experiences that you had. Every moment you're having an experience. Maybe somebody's standing with you, but they're not there the next moment. They're not there 20 years ago. They're not there 30 years from now. You're having totally different experiences every moment, and they're doing this stuff to you, and you're storing different stuff inside. And even if somebody is standing next to you, they're not taking it the same as you're taking it because they had different experiences before. It's complicated, but I want you to think about it. You are unique. People want I want to be unique. You are. Nobody that ever lived has experienced what you experienced. And that's pretty far out. You're getting a private showing every moment, and no one ever will, and no one ever has. It will never happen again. It's your moment. Okay? And what you do with it? You know what you do with it? I like it, I don't like it, I don't know why, it shouldn't have happened, it's not right, it's not good. You're just sitting here storing all this stuff in there, making yourself not okay, and then trying to figure out how to be okay with the stuff in there. That's what I like. The answer how to be okay is very simple. Get the stuff out. You'll be beyond okay. Nothing will be blocking the Shakti. You'll be filled with energy, but no one tells you that. They tell you how to get what you want. That's how you be okay. Get what you want. Decide what you want and go out and get it. Right? That's our society, isn't it? Be aggressive. Be assertive. First of all, decide what you want. How do you decide what you want? You decide what you want based upon where you're not okay. All right? I want a new car, a classy new car, so that when I pull up to people, they go, ooh, look at her in that car. Wow, she must, right? Why do you want that? Because I don't like myself. I don't feel good about myself. Because I need other people to feel good about me for me to feel good about me. Anybody know anything about that? It's called acceptance. They say, oh, that's natural human. It is not. It is not natural. You are filled with joy. You are filled with love. You're whole and complete within yourself. You can share it. Nobody's saying you go into a cave somewhere. You can share this beauty. Of course you do. But you don't need it. It is not true you need people's acceptance. You need people's acceptance because you're blocked inside. And what somebody else's acceptance does is make you feel better about yourself. If they all clap when you come in the room, how you doing? A lot better than before I walked in that room. It distracts you from your garbage, and then you open up, and you love it. You feel that. I'm not questioning it feels good. It feels good because you're not feeling good to start with. Right? So just understand that if somebody says to you, decide what you want, then go get it. How are you going to decide what you want? Everyone's going to decide something different. It's all based on where you're not okay. If you grew up in a home that was squalor and you're embarrassed to take people to your home, you want to have a nice house. You have a big mansion, the nicest one in the whole block. so that people are jealous of you and so on. Makes you feel much better. If you grew up in a mansion and your parents didn't get along and they hired people to take care of you, give me something simple. I'll live in a hut. I'll be much happier. Right? It's all based on the impressions that you stored inside. And so you're trying to compensate for what's wrong inside. Instead of getting rid of what's wrong inside, you're trying to make the world compensate for what's wrong inside. So first it says decide what you want. Okay, we say that came from. It's your garbage expressing itself. And then go out and get it. What does that mean? Instead of working on yourself, work on everybody else. Work on every single thing so that the moments unfold in front of you make you feel better instead of worse. Does anybody do that? Does anybody dress a certain way, act a certain way, wear their hair a certain way, do this and that and every single thing about it to try and make it so that the people who pass in front of them like them and the moments are the way they want them to be. And you're doing everything you can to manipulate the world so that you can feel okay in it. What yoga and deep spirituality teaches you is you can do that. It's not wrong. It's not wrong. You're not going to go to hell. You just live in hell. Okay? You just be suffering inside. You can have problems. Instead, there's such a thing as getting rid of all this garbage inside. And every time you get rid of some more and the Shakti pushes, and that's what I want to talk about, she comes up higher. Why? Because she's not blocked there. She's always pushing to come up. It's always trying. By the way, these are not different than Christ's teachings. I stand at the door and knock, and whoever will open, I will enter. That's what's being said. It's always trying to push up. And if you will open, it comes up. It enters. At what level? That's where you get into the energy system. It's like, in general, people are blocked at a very, very low level. They have innate fears. They have deep fears. And they've had things happen to them, and they don't want them to happen again. So the Shakti works in a state of fear. That, basically, a lot of people teach this, right? It used to be that survival was what we were all about, right? So physical survival. Most of you don't have that problem every moment of every day. So what you're about is psychological survival. You're about, you literally get as reactive because something challenges your ego that animals do about staying alive. Now let's talk about, can you get out? Yes. Can you, every one of you, can you get out? Yes. But there's no but. Okay? There's no but about it. There's nothing you ever did, there's nothing that ever happened to you that in any way, shape, or form makes it you can't get out. I don't care how old you are, how rich you are, how poor you are, male, female, anything. I don't care whatever happened to you. It doesn't make any difference. That's just stuff stored inside. That's stuff stored inside that is only in there because you can't handle it. Has anybody ever said, I can't handle this? Has anyone ever said, I can't handle this? What does that mean? It means I'm going to push it away. I can't handle it. That means it's going to get stuck in there. Okay? So basically you come to the point, and I hope you're here now, where you eventually say, I don't want to do that for my essence of my life. I dropped on this beautiful planet and I'm suffering. Just like Buddha said, all life is suffering. Why am I suffering? You're suffering because you store that stuff inside. And it is so distracting that it keeps your conscience focused on it. And even if somebody tells you they love you, I love you so much. I've never loved anybody. Oh, excuse me, what'd you say? I couldn't hear you. I said, I love you so. Will you tomorrow? Will you love me? A song, will you love me tomorrow? Right? How do I know? How can I be sure? Well, you're doing real well, aren't you? In other words, you can't handle anything. You can't even handle somebody saying, I love you. Somebody gives you a gift. Why'd you give me this? What do you want from me? Wow! It's crazy. That's the psyche stuffed in there. So what does it mean to open? What does it mean to grow? What does it mean to evolve? What does it mean to liberate yourself, to free yourself from yourself? Freedom does not mean you get what you want. It's such a misunderstanding. It's not freedom for yourself, it's freedom from yourself. The only reason you want anything is because you're blocked. So to go out there and attract to yourself or do manipulation to get what you want is meaningless. Getting what you want is so overrated, it's ridiculous. Do you understand if you got every single thing you wanted, you'd never grow? You wouldn't change. Every single thing is exactly the way I want. That's kind of boring. You need to be challenged to let go of your stuff. If every single thing fed your stuff and took care of your stuff and you felt comfortable about it, it's staying in there and you're staying attached to it. So basically, we get to the point to understand it is about releasing this stuff, not about letting it run your life anymore. But it doesn't mean you're renouncing. I learned a long time ago, you don't do this intensely. You do it committedly, but not intensely. So that if you're in a relationship and you're doing this and you see you're needy, okay, fine. Just see it. Be the witness. Notice what you're doing. Notice that this is your stuff. Well, everybody would say they love me, always broke up and I'm scared. Okay, fine. Notice how these patterns are left inside of you and they're making you look at things a certain way. And you're getting scared. You can feel the energy, get all messed up inside. Good, I want you to feel that. I don't want you to make believe you're not feeling that. That's not what it's about. It's about looking at it, seeing it, noticing where it came from if you can, and then saying, do I want this running my life? I feel jealous. Why do you feel jealous? Well, I don't know where he is right now. Well, that shouldn't make you feel jealous. I'm sorry. That's your mind. So now what are you going to do? Normally, I hire a detective, so I know I know where he is. I'll watch very, very carefully, all right? I'll put one of those microphones in there, and nowadays you can do a lot of stuff, all right? And it's like, okay, you're just buying into your problem. You're reinforcing your problem. And if you sit there and say, okay, I hired a detective, I looked around, I did this, I checked, looks like it's okay. You did not get rid of anything. The next time something isn't the way you thought it should be, now you know who to call. Got him on fast dial, the detective. Are you listening to me? All right, what's the alternative? I don't want to be like this. If something happens and I have to deal with it, I'd rather deal with it when it happens than worry about it all the time, than have to keep feeding this part of me that's not okay. I would like to let go of that part. What does it take? It takes you deciding, I'm willing to go through what it takes to release this. Can it be released? I've always been this way. That shows you really got a strong samskara in there. I've been like this since I was 10. Okay, something happened. There's stuff in there. So you commit yourself to say, I don't want this in here. I don't know how to get rid of it right now, and I'm not going to get rid of it right now. All right? I'm not going to change anything. I just see it's a problem, not a solution, and I don't want it running my life. And that goes for everything, not just some jealousy or this or that or anything like that. You just start noticing, and you're going to get scared when you start noticing, because you're going to see you're a mess. That's what you're going to see. You're going to see this thing has got serious problems. You got serious needs, serious fears, serious anxieties. You know what I'm talking about, okay? You can hide it by trying to compensate with your money, with your job, with your looks, with this, all kinds of things, right? But you're hiding. So eventually you will say, I do not want to do that for the rest of my life. I dropped down on a beautiful planet, and I'm wasting my life. I'm wasting my life trying to be okay. I'm wasting my life trying to be okay instead of trying to find out why I'm not okay. That's the difference between freedom for myself to get what my stuff needs versus freedom from myself to let go of this garbage that's caught my attention, my energy, and someday believe I could wake up in the morning. Told you how great being wakes up in the morning. I'm back! I wonder what's going to happen. Who cares? It'll be fun. Something will happen. There'll be colors and shapes and sounds and things, and this is going to be fun. I wonder what happened today. And then you go to bed at night. Fun, that was fun. And you go to bed. You get up in the morning. That'd be more fun, wouldn't it? I'd like to live like that. And so basically, you start to realize, I got some work to do. I need to let go of this stuff so that, one, it doesn't distract me, but I'm making a point this time of saying also so that I can experience what's underneath. There's something underneath your stuff, and it's not a deep, dark hole like it looks like. It's pure beauty. It's pure love. It's pure light. Why does it look like a dark hole? Because you're looking, here, go, the sun is shining, go close the blinds. Oh my God, it's so dark in here. I can't look in that direction because it's darker right where the blinds are. Well, it's not dark behind the blinds, but it sure is dark when you look into them, isn't it? That's the same thing here. You're looking into your blockages, and they block the light, they block the energy. And so you decide, I would like to feel that energy, and I would like to get rid of all these issues that I built inside myself. How do you do that? First, you have to understand you can. You can do that. But you can't do the big ones right now. You can't just all of a sudden say, I'm never going to be jealous again, right? Because then you're going to suppress it. You'll suppress the emotion that comes up that forms itself as jealousy. Don't worry about it. Don't do that. Just notice, whoa, take a checklist. Jealousy. Look what that feels like. Look at the trouble that sucker causes, right? Insecurity. Look at that. You sure you like me? You said yesterday you liked me. Do you still like me? I said something that you might not have liked. Were you okay with that? It's just like unbelievable. We got issues. You look at them. Notice them. Notice that your consciousness is what's noticing these things. Your seat of consciousness is what notices the jealous feeling. It notices the insecurity. It notices needs and desires and drives and notices all this stuff. Like someone said, but aren't drives natural? They're natural to the degree that energy is blocked and is trying to express itself in that way. A yogi understands way deeper. Drives, needs, problems, all this kind of stuff are because you're blocked and the energy is trying to come up and it can't, so it tries to find another way to come out. And sometimes it's very, very strong. What about anger? What is anger? Blocked energy, blocked Shakti. The energy comes up, it's trying to, be in love with somebody and have a beautiful love moment taking place. Then have them say or do something so stupid that it freaks you out. What do you feel? Love? No. Anger. It takes a billionth of a second and you close, and when you look at the words, you were open. You were having a love moment, right? I told you the story that you're hugging and you're kissing and it's so sweet and it's so nice. And you're melted, right? And for a moment, I love her, I love him so much. I want to see his face. You open your eyes and the other person behind your head has their cell phone turned on, reading something, right? OMG. That is not acceptable. How long does it take you to go from melting in love to pissed off? A billionth of a second. Because you just went from open, and when you're open, the Shakti's flowing. It's open. You're getting what you want. It's open. You're not resisting. And the moment something happened that your ego could not handle, it closed instantaneously. And where did the love go? It turned into anger. Why? Because that which is flowing freely now is blocked. Therefore, it's hitting that blockage and shooting out strong, isn't it? Now you understand. That's what I want to talk about. The relationship between the psyche and Shakti. Is it true, first of all, what I just said? The same power, all the love you felt is now coming out as anger, right? It's just an expression of the energy that's blocked as opposed to an expression of the energy that's open. And now you decide, which do you want? Which do you want? I don't care what the person did. Which do you want? You want to feel love or you want to feel anger? You want to feel love or you want to feel resentment? Which one? Because it's you. It's yours. I don't care what they did. You're inside. And eventually you get to the point where you say, I want to be open. I want to feel love. If I have a choice, I choose love. How about you? So you start to work with yourself. That's what it comes down to. What do you mean? The way I teach it to you is you don't start with the big stuff. You have this job to do inside. When you start to play the piano, you never played it before, you don't play Beethoven or Mozart. Don't do it. You sit down and you do the scales. If you want to play tennis, don't play the Williams sisters or Borg. Get a coach who hits the ball or a ball feeder. In other words, you practice with little things, with simple things. You don't get overwhelmed with these big things you can't possibly deal with right now. You're not ready. That's like sitting down trying to play perfect piano or play some tennis pro. So you start doing this work inside with little things. I always use the same examples. If you yell at me, I always use the same examples. They're good examples. The driver in front is not driving the way you want. They didn't use their blinker. They're going 10 miles below the speed limit. They're erratically putting the brake on. How you doing? Good. I like seeing that. It's not just me. Not doing so good, are you? Of what benefit is it for you to give up love, happiness, well-being because of how that driver's driving? There's no way I'm trading that. I don't even know the person, right? And I'm talking to him, but he's not listening. Come on, buddy, nice blinker. No, it does nothing. Could you handle that person driving the way they are if you wanted to? If you bother to, could you sit in there, be in a good mood, and that schnook and the way they're driving does not have the right to take your good mood away? Yes or no? But you don't do it. Look at me. You think it doesn't matter that you get negative about that. You think it doesn't matter you close about that. I'm telling you it does. I'm telling you those are the scales on the piano. Those are where you're practicing being well. You're practicing not suppressing. You're practicing not resisting. You're practicing not making a mess of yourself when you don't have to. Believe me, there's some of these happen out there you got to deal with. That's not one of them. What about the weather? It's raining. Is that okay with you? No, I had to walk from my car and I got wet. Give me a break. It's like you don't have to do this. I'm a business person, right? Here business people work. there's a thing called cost-benefit analysis. They hire analysts to figure out what's the cost, what's the benefit of these different decisions. Well, imagine going into a business meeting saying, boss, I analyzed it, hired the best analysts, I got the answer. What? This one. He said, what's the cost benefit? It is a 100% cost and a zero benefit. Let's do it. That's what you're doing inside. What are you benefiting by bothering yourself about the weather? Did it change the weather? What are you benefiting by bothering yourself about the driver in front of you? Did it change the driver in front of you? This is where the rubber hits the road. Are you willing to work on yourself? Because it matters. You're practicing being okay. But why do you have to drive so... No, I can't answer. I don't care. I don't care. But he's supposed to be in the right lane. I don't care. That's not what matters. What matters is, can you be okay even though that's happening? And you know you can. You just don't bother. And I'm saying bother. Bother to learn to be okay with these little things. Have fun with it. The person who's driving in front of you 10 miles below the speed limit, here's how you talk to them. Come on, try for 15. That's a Guinness Book of Records. Come on, let's see you go 5 and a 30. Come on, man, go for it. Right? Have some fun. It's a video game inside. Play. Have fun. Don't let it disturb you. Why? Because you're the one who's making it disturb. That driver cannot disturb you. You don't even know them. You have the right to not get disturbed. How? Now you start to get subtle. Talk about the relationship between the Shakti and the Psyche. The Psyche wants to close. It's a habit. You're used to it. You start to get uptight about different things. If it's cloudy out and you want to go camping tomorrow, you get upset. That's ridiculous. You're just training yourself to be a problem. Instead, you sit there and say, fine, if it rains tomorrow, I love the rain. It grows food. I need food. The farmers love the rain. I can love the rain. So I won't go camping. We'll play tiddlywinks. It'll be more fun. Just, you get to do that. You don't have to let these things bring you down. And so what you're doing then is you're learning to open, to raise yourself, to thin out the psyche, and the blockages are less, and you'll actually feel, even if you do these little things, you'll feel better. Of course you'll feel better. You didn't make yourself feel worse. If you don't make yourself feel worse, you're going to feel better. And so even these little things that you're doing, you're not piling up this garbage. It is worth it. And what happens is as you learn what? Learn to let go of what? The junk that you're reacting to. How do you let go? I don't know how to let go. Relax. I don't know how to relax. You do so. Relax. You need to relax your shoulders, relax your arms, relax your buttocks, relax your tummy. But inside, those hands that are complaining and grabbing, relax, relax, relax. Inside, relax. Whoa, wait till you try to do that the first time when something happens that the ego doesn't like. It's so much fun. You're going to see why you're so caught. You can see how strong the ego is. It's got some power, doesn't it? It used to run the show, and you're now challenging it. You're sitting there saying, cool it, baby. Shh. It's okay. We can handle this. That's the key. There's the highest mantra you'll ever use. I can handle this. I can handle this. Whoa. I'd love to have that going on inside of you all the time. Somebody says something, I can handle this. I can handle this. What does that mean? I am willing and ready and able to relax in the face of the energy that's coming in. And now we're back to where we started. What does that do? It gives it room to pass through. Somebody says something to you, and by the way, you don't have to say it. You have to think maybe they were thinking it. God, I wonder what he's thinking. I wonder what he's thinking. I bet he didn't like what I said. What are you doing? You have no idea what he's thinking. You're thinking about that. He's not. The person they're thinking about their garbage, not yours. And so you're sitting there saying, right, I'm going to get upset because of what I think he's thinking. There's a perfect example of you're bothering yourself for no reason. If indeed the person has a problem, you'll find out. I'd rather find out and deal with it when it surfaces than try to protect myself from it when I made up that it's there. It's so funny, but we don't do that, do we? We drive ourselves crazy. I told you, the moment in front of you is not bothering you. You're bothering yourself about the moment in front of you. The car in front of you is not bothering you. You're bothering yourself about how he's driving. It's like you're doing it all the time. What do you see how often you do it? Stop it. Relax through it. Let go. It's called letting go, relax, release, let go, relax. Doesn't mean you don't interact with the world. You just don't interact with the world as your reaction to your garbage. And you're going to find out that over time, you start to open. You start to get more open. Then what happens? Something bigger than the car in front of you happens. And it's a little stronger. But you now have developed technique to work with yourself. The boss says, hey, I want to see you tomorrow morning. Come on in. A lot of people are going to suffer all night. They can't even go to sleep. They're in great shape to meet the boss. They didn't sleep all night. You now have the ability, because you handle the driver in front of you, you handle the hot of the sun and the rain, and you handle some things, right? And all of a sudden you look at that and say, fine, I have no idea what the boss wants to talk to me about, and I personally don't care. I'll find out tomorrow. Heck if I'm going to let it ruin my evening. And you actually have the ability to do that. Wouldn't that be nice? Not suppress it. Let it go. Let it go. Not denying anything. Why think about it? Here's how I do it in my mind. Mind. Shh. Quiet. Do you know what the boss wants to talk about? No, but I want to think about it. No. Either you know or you don't know, and thinking about it is not going to do anything but make you crazy. All right? There was a guy in the 60s, Sufi Sam, used to say, you can get more stinking from thinking than you can from drinking. And so you don't do it. You just learn to work with yourself. What's nice about working with yourself is there's no competition. Out here to get it the way your ego wants it, you better work, man. That's got to control everybody. You're the only one in there. You want to let go, let go. I don't want to let go. Then suffer. The ego will convince you, this one you shouldn't let go. We need boundaries. No, that boss should not have said it like that. He knows that's not fair. He should have sent me an email and told me what he wanted. Go on, go do that. Have fun. Because you won't. You start to get reasonably disciplined with yourself to not do this to yourself. And then what's going to happen? More Shakti is going to come up. The more you let go of the psyche, the more the energy underneath it starts to reveal itself. And you start feeling high. I want you to be excited about to find out what the boss wants. I want you to be excited. What is this exciting thing? I wonder what it is. This, I can't wait. Okay? Instead of, I know it would be bad. Everything you think is negative. Your mind will always think negative. Why? Because it's got fears and anxieties in there. And past experiences that didn't work out so good. And it will bring those back up. Because you stored negative in there, it's going to be negative. Some people say, why is the mind so negative? The mind is not negative. The mind is what you stored in there. It's expressing the junk that you stored inside in your entire life. You stored everything that ever bothered you. What do you expect your mind to talk about? Start undoing that. Start releasing that. And eventually what will happen over time, give it whatever time it needs. It doesn't matter. Just do your best. Period. You can only do your best. And there's nothing wrong with doing your best. I don't care what happens. I don't care if you look back a year from now and say, or even an hour from now, and say, boy, I could have done better than that. Well, if you were doing your best an hour ago, hindsight's not fair. You don't get to look back and judge yourself. Just do your best every moment and accept whatever takes place as a learning experience. If I do my best and something not so good comes back, that's a learning experience. I'm a better person because I tried my best and that's what came back. If I'm playing tennis and I try to hit the ball the best I can, it doesn't go over the net, I learned. That's not a bad, that's a good. And the same thing with the piano, the same thing with every single thing. Same thing here. You just do your best to let go to the best of your ability, and then you work with what comes back. You honor it, you respect it, no judgment, no fear, no shame, no blame, nothing. Just, man, let's keep on trucking. I'm going up. Anyone want to go? This elevator's going up. It's not stopping for anything. And you keep letting go, and the next thing you know, you start feeling this energy. You literally, I don't care if you do yoga, I don't care if you understand the chakras, I don't care if you understand anything. You just start feeling this energy. People write me all the time. I don't know, it's just all of a sudden I started letting go and doing this stuff, and all this, I started feeling this pressure at the point between my eyebrows. They don't know a single thing about the chakras. And it won't stop. It just keeps doing that. And there's this light up there. Okay, namaste. That's how you grow. You let go of what's keeping the energy from going up, it's going to go up. It can't not. It's going to go up. And it has nothing to do with anything you ever did wrong throughout your entire life. It makes no difference. I don't want you getting caught up in karma or that kind of junk. Those blockages inside, I call some scars, are what they call karmic seeds. The things you couldn't handle in the past, you stored them inside of you, and now they're blocking you. You let go of those blockages. They say at the moment of enlightenment, all karmic seeds are burned. That's the great teachings. Well, it's also true of every moment you let go. You're letting go of what would have attracted negative stuff back to you because you don't need it anymore. So it's a very beautiful path. And understand, let's just close it with this. What happens if I keep letting go? You get more and more Shakti. But I was letting go and I was feeling all this good energy, and all of a sudden I felt all this pain and suffering inside. Good. Why? Because it means you're letting go of something very big. You understand that? If you stored it with pain, it's coming back with pain. The question is, do you want that in there running your life? Or do I sit there and say, fine, yes, there's pain in here because I stored it in here because I couldn't handle things. They got rotten in there. I am willing to go through it. But no, you will never be challenged with more than what you can handle. I know you don't believe that, and you won't believe it later either. You will never be challenged with more than you can handle. That's just a natural process inside. But it will push it up, and you're going to say, I can't handle this. Well, I told you what your mantra is. I can handle this. I can handle this. You just do your best. You do your best. If you fall down, get up. That's a learning experience. That's wonderful. I like falling down. It's wonderful. If you did your best. If you didn't do your best, that's not helpful. And you're going to see, eventually, you're going to see that all this energy starts opening up inside of you. You feel inspired all the time. It's my turn to do the dishes, but you did them last night. I want to do them tonight. Every single thing, there's inspiration. There's excitement. There's just joy welling up inside of you. You can't wait to wake up in the morning. You can't wait to go to bed at night. You can't wait to interact. You can't wait. If somebody had trouble with the day before, you can't wait to see them so you can work it out. You just get to be a being who's going up instead of down. And it's always going up. I'm telling you, if you're growing, if you do what I'm talking about, when you go to bed at night, you're a different person than when you woke up in the morning. When you go to bed at night, every single night, you're a clearer person than who woke up in the morning, because you used every moment of your day to let go of what's happening and the garbage that's in there. And eventually there's so much energy pouring inside of you that it's so beautiful that it starts distracting your consciousness instead of your garbage. You start getting pulled into the Shakti flow. She's beautiful and she's love and she's going up and you just always feel joy. And the next thing you know, the world's easy. If you don't mess with it, okay, it unfolds. Okay, this person didn't say what you wanted to hear. Okay, this happened. Okay, that happened. You know how many things happen, so what? If you're okay inside, what do you care? You're filled with love and nothing. How would you like to get to a point you realize nothing can ever take you down ever again? That's it. So you're not doing anything to get it. It's free of charge. It's flowing inside of you, and you're just intoxicated with it. And guess what? Maybe I should stop. You're nowheres yet. You're completely intoxicated with this upward flow of Shakti. It pulls you inside. You're always feeling joy, always feeling love, always feeling open. Now we can get ready for some high states. That's not a high state. That's a start of sort of a high human, but it's not where great ones have gone. You can get way beyond that. Ultimately what happens in the really deep states with the great masters is the Shakti flow becomes so strong that she starts pulling your consciousness into her. Just like love pulls you into it. You start to melt in those special moments. But it's pulling you in. And it's begging you to let go. Not let go of your stuff. You already let go of enough stuff. To let go of your individuality, of your separateness. It's calling you to merge. Yoga means merger. It means union. It's calling your consciousness to let go of staring and being involved with this stupid little thing down here. And it pulls you up into it. And ultimately, I'll use Meher Baba's words, a great master, my consciousness was a drop staring at me. It let go, and the drop fell into the ocean. Find it. Find a drop of water that fell into the ocean. That's the merger. That's the union. That's the oneness. And that's where truly Christ, what did Christ say? My Father and I are one. You're a very great being. The question is, are you willing to work with yourself, to raise yourself, to liberate yourself? Jai Gurudev.